to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today Around Kansas introduces us to the McLemore twins from Colby and their band Driven. Next we learn the story behind the story of baseball great Mickey Mantle and enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson, our Poet Lariat. We'll end with Zak Barnes, an innovative artist from Kansas whose work is very popular at exhibits and galleries throughout the region. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the yellow brick road. Good morning again. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. Good grief. You know, we keep talking about how the year seems to be going, and here we are in November already.
I'm not even used to writing 2015 yet. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I did the other day? I wrote down the date and I put 2005. I mean, I just dropped a whole decade. It's like, I can't believe time is just spinning the way it is.
Yeah, the winds of November. Now, of course, we don't really worry too much about the winds of November, but up in the Great Lakes they do, you know, because the winds of November have sunk many a ship up there. That has nothing to do with Kansas, but it's just some silly thing that popped into my mind.
Gordon Lightfoot, the Edmund Fitzgerald, yeah.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
God, I love that song.
Yeah, I'll play it Saturday.
I love Gordon Lightfoot. I love Gordon Lightfoot. He's an interview I would love to do. You know?
Yeah.
I would love to interview him.
So,
well, we got a lot of music. Speaking of Gordon Lightfoot, we got a lot of music on today, so it's going to be a great show. In November, there's just again so many things going on, gearing up for the holidays, of course. The Dillon House where we are is gearing up for a lot of holiday parties, and they'll be decorating soon for the holidays, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So you'll want to come by and see it while it's all prettied up for the holidays.
Well, and if you're in Topeka, the Noto Arts District has a candlelight Christmas, and it's ahead of course, Christmas itself. But it's a beautiful, beautiful thing because there are luminaries along the street and the decorations are up. And hopefully this year it'll be snowing. The first year we did it over there was actually snow. And there were lighted sleigh rides up and down the street.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was, I have to say, it was beautiful. You know, and another one, you've got time to plan. We're telling you because everybody says, I never know until it happens. Well, I'm giving you time to plan. The first weekend in December, Fort Scott, the historic site in Fort Scott, Kansas, has an illumination, and they have vignettes. It is so well done. So it's like they have luminaries along the paths there on the old fort, and you walk into the buildings, and it's like you walk into another era, and you walk in the middle of these people's conversations. It's so well done. I highly recommend it, and you have to get tickets early because I think they do sell out. So you have to get your tickets early for that one. But I highly recommend it. They do it, I believe, for 2 nights. And I know most of the people who are involved in making that happen. And it's a wonderful event.
Yeah. Of course, we do have Thanksgiving before Christmas, so we'll have to do some Thanksgiving stories here, too.
We'll do some Thanksgiving stuff, too. Yeah. Send us your ideas, you know, if you've got some stuff you want us to cover. Like I got a message the other day from Rick Brainerd, and he said, have you ever done anything on Don Goldsmith, the author?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, we have not, but we certainly will put Don on the list, and we will do something about Don. So if you've got ideas, let us hear them, you know, whether it's about the holidays or just people that you think should be mentioned on Around Kansas or just whatever. We'll be right back.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Fall is a great time to plant perennials, trees, shrubs, and bulbs. Root development occurs with the moist and cool soil conditions, which means better growth next year with less watering and maintenance. The use of mulch on all plantings helps protect from freezing, thawing, and drying out. Let Jackson's help with your next planting.
Jackson's top quality fall bulbs for spring blooming have arrived. Always plant the best bulbs for bigger, better blooms.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life. And we're back again. Happy Wednesday morning to you. And we're in November, and it's a time too when there are family gatherings here as we get into Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that. And then you start thinking about music and maybe family sing-alongs and all of that. And that's kind of a little bit of a cue to you to start talking about what our next story has to do with.
You might think of family sing-alongs unless you're like me and you can't sing and you'd just rather not sing along with the family. So I am the one person, I grew up immersed in music and I have no musical ability whatsoever. I wrote a book on Kansas music and I talk about that. You know, I grew up in an era where in a place where everybody can sing, everybody can play, but me. You know, I'm the one that just gets to talk about it, I guess. But talk about family harmonies, and as you well know in the music business, there's so many legendary family harmonies. You know, the Everly Brothers, I mean, it just goes on and on. The McLemore Brothers, add those to your list. Those boys are incredible. And I got to see them down in Winfield earlier this year, and they're just amazing. So if you get a chance to hear them play and sing anywhere, whether it's with their band Driven or anybody else, by golly, you take advantage of it. Let's take a look at that very talented family. Sibling harmonies enjoy a long history in bluegrass music, and the McLemore twins from Colby carry on that tradition with a driving energy. Their band, in fact, is called Driven, and watching them perform leaves no doubt. Brandon and Blake were born just after their parents, Bob and Susan McLemore, had attended the Walnut Valley Festival in Winfield and were inspired to take up instruments. Winfield became a family custom, and the boys' lives had a soundtrack. They often fell asleep to the sounds of their parents and their friends making music. By 10, they had begun playing themselves. For 10 years, they joined their parents in a band simply called the McLemores. These days, Driven is in high demand. The other band members, Jimmy Campbell and Jake and Rebecca Workman, are a perfect fit for the duo's high-energy performances. When Driven isn't performing, they play cowboy western swing music with friend Alan Bailey as part of Marshall Allen Bailey and the Silver Bullets. The twins, their parents, and brother Ryan all help a committee of close friends put on the Picking on the Plains Bluegrass Festival in Colby, Kansas. Their hope is to spread their love of bluegrass to others. I first saw Jake perform at the Little Grill in Manhattan, where he often joined Chris Biggs and Steve Hendricks. Jake was in school at K-State and connected with Chris, who in turn reconnected him with other old music friends, which in turn led to the formation of the band Kansas Heart with Bob Atchison and Mike and Vicki Theobald. The group opened for Charlie Daniels at Salina's Stiefel Theater. It was a real treat sitting with Chris and his brother John, also an accomplished musician, and watching Driven on stage at Winfield. Jake Workman had borrowed Chris's Martin guitar, and the sound was amazing. The reaction of the crowd, well, they were driven into a frenzy, literally.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population.
The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Welcome back, and what a baseball year this has been for Kansas. And Frank, we have so many legendary baseball players with Kansas connections, and you've got another phenomenal story today.
Yes. Well, that's it. A lot of people think, well, where do these major league players come from? Well, believe it or not, they still come from small towns.
Little bitty places, yeah.
At one time, Topeka, Kansas was really a place where especially the Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees came to scout for talent. And they don't necessarily scout for them out of the colleges. They might come and look at a little league baseball team and say, wow, we need to watch this guy here. In fact, my grandson's baseball team last fall when they were playing, there was a minor league scout there taking a look at a 14-year-old who could hit the ball 300 feet. So anyway, who knows, we might see this young man in the major leagues sometime. And that kind of is the lead-in to the next story too, about someone that you think, wow, he was such a great star, a big star, where'd he come from? Well, they came from Baxter Springs. Let's take a look. He was an Oklahoma boy whose dad, Mutt, worked in the lead and zinc mines, but named his son in honor of Baseball Hall of Famer Mickey Cochran. In the town of Commerce, Mickey played most high school sports and rooted for the St. Louis Cardinals. His baseball career began across the line in Baxter Springs, Kansas, where he played for the Whiz Kids. In 1948, a New York Yankees scout came to Baxter Springs to watch Mickey's teammate, third baseman Billy Johnson. During that game, Mickey hit 3 home runs. The scout returned the next year after Mickey graduated high school. He signed the young man to a minor league contract. Mickey was assigned to the Yankees' Class D Independence Yankees of the Kansas-Oklahoma-Missouri League, where he played shortstop. He struggled and at one time told his dad he was quitting. When his performance improved, he was sent to the Yankees training camp, and manager Casey Stengel saw a lot of promise in him. Again, he struggled, and he was sent back to the Yankees' top farm team, the Kansas City Blues. Frustrated, he again told his father he was quitting. Mutt drove up to Kansas City and began packing his son's bags, telling him he could come back and work in the mines with him. His performance improved. Mickey immediately broke out of his slump, going on to hit .361 with 11 homers and 50 RBIs during his stay in Kansas City. Mickey was called up to the Yankees after 40 games with Kansas City. He played with legends, and he became a legend, racking up record after record.
First game at a 1. Here's the payoff pitch. This is it! There it goes! It's out of here!
His outgoing personality made him a celebrity beyond baseball circles. and there was hardly a kid in the world who didn't and still doesn't recognize the name Mickey Mantle.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
When the open range era came to an end, the homesteaders and settlers moved into Kansas and started building something that would change the life of the cowboys forever. I'm referring to fences. And this poem is based on the true story of the invention of barbed wire. It's called The Death of Open Range. Let me tell you of a time when open range was in its prime. Cowboys rode their horses forth and drove the huge herds of cattle north. We could ride all over this great land, unfettered by the human hand. Then a farmer over Illinois way invented something that's used to this day. His name was Mr. Joseph Glidden. He was doing the homesteaders' bidding. He took a pair of heavy pliers and wrapped barbs around a long piece of wire. The barb's sharp points kept stock in or out. It could be used for fencing all about. For the open range, it was a turn of events, because barbed wire made it easy to string a fence. Barbed wire succeeded more than Glidden had planned. Soon fences crisscrossed the open land. The Old West changed with Glidden's invention, and it caused the cowboys apprehension. No more could we ride over free open range, and the cowboy's role would be forever changed. Homesteaders and nesters scarred this land and changed the role of the old cowhand. The cowboy's work continues on, but the days of the open range are gone. That open range would have no more hope. That's why cowboys called barbed wire the devil's rope. Happy trails.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, Mickey Mantle, isn't it something?
Oh,
yeah.
It's a great story, you know, and I got to meet, we were in St. Louis, just happened to be in St. Louis, Heather and I were, when Yogi Berra died. And so we were eating in the neighborhood, the Italian Hill in St. Louis, and we went by and paid our respects to Yogi's niece, who lives in the house where he grew up, and of course, legendary player. And Joe DiMaggio grew up, Joe Garagiola grew up in the same neighborhood, but DiMaggio and all those guys were all friends. So it's just an incredible legacy.
Yeah. So we'll kind of do away with baseball till next year, and then we'll do a whole bunch more baseball stories of people that were big stars out of Kansas. There are several from Topeka.
We got to get in. Now we'll get into the basketball. So we'll do Wilt Chamberlain and all those guys.
But let's talk though a little bit about art again.
Oh my goodness.
Art. So.
And of course we've got this wonderful arts district where Frank sits in the middle of every day up in Noto. But we've got art all over the state and just galleries everywhere. They're just cropping up, and we're producing some amazing artists from Kansas who are getting regional and national recognition, well-due recognition. And one of those is Zak Barnes, and this young man is so impressive. I remember the first time I saw his art, I was blown away. And then I met him actually at Beecham's Gallery over in West Topeka. And it's just an amazing young man. So you're going to love getting to know Zak. Videographer Michael Gehring and I had just stopped in Cottonwood Falls to visit the Chamber office and the Symphony and the Flint Hills office and gallery. They were in the midst of a plein air exhibit, and some of the artists were still in the field. We found Zak Barnes in the front yard at Pioneer Bluffs, the restored territorial homestead at Matfield Green. A more picturesque setting could not be imagined. The farmhouse, imposing barns, large trees, stone walls, and the artist at work in the midst of the scene. Zak paused only moments from his work, a painting of a vintage tractor. He would have shaken hands, but his hands were splattered with paint, and he had little time to leave the canvas. He worked quickly, with bold, thick strokes of color. It was a piece of art in itself, just to watch Zak create. The work of this Kansas native has proven to be popular at exhibits and galleries throughout the region. I feel a deep connection to the prairie landscape and to the people of this land. These are the base and anchor of my work, Zak has said. They set the emotional tone for any narrative that plays itself out in the paintings. My strongest influences are my immediate environment, life experience, and the way my mind interprets this information. Zak lives alternately between remote and cosmopolitan settings, which allows him to explore a wide range of experiences. The landscape work is challenging, constantly changing. Zak explained, I attempt to capture the fleeting moment in paint, texture, and color, in mood and measure. The scene changes with each passing moment, demanding a concentration of attention and quickness of hand. I paint with brush and palette knife, often limiting the palette, using earth tones to accentuate moments of color. With an artist's skill and insight, those moments are forever captured on canvas. Gary Blitch, owner of Southwind Gallery, said, Zak Barnes is one of the most innovative artists to come into the Kansas art scene in the last 10 years. He conveys interesting otherness in a style which almost requires the viewer to spend more time in front of the canvases than you had planned. You will see beautiful women packing six-shooters, 18-wheelers where they don't belong, and St. Bernards everywhere. If you had any money, I would recommend you invest in Zak Barnes. I think it would be a blue-chip deal.
We're out of time again, so I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere around Kansas. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream. We're the best part of
To see this
Dorothy's
show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.